My wet socks, I hope you all had a fantastic Mother's Day with friends and family. You know who didn't have a fantastic Mother's Day? Sophie, because her mom threatened to slit her throat. Let's talk about it.
His nickname, you know his nickname, right?
No, what is it?
Rob the Knob.
Rob the Knob.
This is Sophie, she's 25 years old, and this is her husband Rob, who is 33 years old. These two entered this relationship because they both were infatuated with what the other looked like. So right away, somewhat superficial, right, to enter a relationship because this person's insanely good looking. The only other thing that they had in common that they spoke about was that they're both biracial. But whenever they're on camera together, it seems like it's forced. They have no witty jokes, they got nothing fun to talk about. And instead of living with her husband, she chose to live with a roommate that is very into her. And by the way, Sophie told Rob that she's bisexual during the relationship, like it was a big coming out.
I'm bi.
When I feel like that's information you should communicate in advance before someone enters a relationship with you. Rob has caught a lot of heat from all kinds of people on social media, and I understand why.
I'm Rob, I'm 32 years old, and I live in Los Angeles. I feel like I'm a good-looking guy, so people can kiss my ass.
I had to pee at like 3 a.m. I had to go
We don't
outside.
have a bathroom in here. It's not the first place ever. You used to houses in Dubai.
He is a very insecure dude that can't process and communicate his emotions in a healthy way. Rob is often referred to as Rob the Knob, and that nickname was given to him by Sophie's mother because he has a wandering eye and has been caught cheating on her multiple times in the DMs, especially at the beginning of this relationship. Like, why are you entertaining other girls in the DMs when you are in a relationship? You shouldn't be doing that.
You know, when we was doing like the long distance thing and you kind of like did the whole online talking to that one person.
When are you gonna let it go?
Even if you found out that he was messaging more girls than he originally communicated at the beginning of the relationship, I don't think it's an appropriate response to go and live with a girl that obviously likes you.
I'm so glad you left when you did. Like, that was much needed.
You have an inappropriate friendship with this girl and you're constantly testing Rob, and you can see that by how you brought over your friend from the UK, invited him out to have drinks with you, and Rob didn't communicate to your husband that this is someone that you previously dated.
I mean, we dated for a short amount of time when we were like very first met when we were in Portugal. So I completely get it.
You and her dated?
And once again, I get the criticism for Rob. I'm a big believer in having your finances in order and being a morally sound human being before you enter a relationship with anybody. However, the way that Sophie moves is very whack.
It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Okay?
I'm gonna be all right.
A couple days ago, Sophie's mom Claire released videos showing verbally abusive behavior by Rob and blasted Sophie's friend Kay. Then she was arrested for terroristic threats against family/household and is being held for $5,000 bail. Here's her mugshot, great photos of her by the way. Now let's see what Rob had to say to Sophie.
I can take it or I can break it. Keep playing with me. Keep playing with me. It's not yours, Sophie. You haven't paid a fucking dime towards that phone. How is it yours?
I can pay for it. I need it because I don't feel safe with you.
I don't feel safe with you either.
Okay, why did you even ask me to come get me then?
You said you were coming home. I mean, eventually I would think if you act like you can fuck this relationship, you come home. But the more you off our relationship, the worse it's gonna be when you finally come home. You're gonna have to eat some shit.
Right away, Sots, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. The way that Rob speaks to his woman is just unacceptable. If you can't financially sponsor someone, then don't bring them over here to the States in the first place. And that's my biggest pet peeve with Rob and guys like Rob. If you're not financially up and you're not in a position to enter a relationship with a woman and pay for things, then don't enter a relationship. Stay single, get your bag up, and then when you're in a better financial place, start looking for a girl to enter a relationship with. What's fair is fair though. We have some criticisms for Sophie as well. She constantly plays the victim. It is very Amber Heard-like to whip out your phone and start recording someone when we didn't see what you said to him to get him all riled up in the first place. I find that very manipulative. We've all given Rob the two-piece combo in the comment section of just about every single video about the finances. It seems like he was working on a lot of the criticism criticisms that not only the fans but Sophie had for him during their first season together. So I feel like he was very blindsided by the way that she's moved the first half of this current season, because how dare you, if you're my wife, how are you gonna invite some nerd from the UK that you used to date and not tell me that you used to date him, and all of a sudden I'm in a loaded situation where we're drinking alcohol and I have to talk to this dude.
I mean, I'm shocked that you haven't told him already.
That's why he's being weird.
I mean, this just doesn't set off a good vibe.
That's why I came over and gave him a hug. I'm like, are you okay? Like, I don't know why you're acting like this. I feel like that was weird and awkward.
And that little British One Direction wannabe was running his mouth talking about how Rob's insecure. He's not insecure, especially when you're giving Sophie the fuck me eyes the entire time. Like, it was very obvious to the audience that you wanted to bang Sophie. Once again, Sophie did not post these clips, her mother did. Let's see the next clip right now.
You are the fucking toxicity in this fucking relationship. Because if I was an asshole nigga, I'd be whooping your ass right now telling you you ain't going nowhere, my wife. But no, I'm letting you go. But I'm finna really let you go. The fuck is this even? I don't even know what the fuck is. What the hell?
Okay, obviously this clip changes a lot of things. First and foremost, saying if I was another, I would beat you up. Something like that. Threatening your woman with physical violence. It's disgusting, man. And to be honest with you, now I understand why she's recording you. Because this irrational behavior is inexcusable. To actually threaten your wife like this, you can tell that she's the victim here by how the dog is comforting her and not him. That dog could tell that Sophie was obviously in distress in this situation, which is why the dog is comforting her. And it's so sad, man, that you let it get to this point where your woman is fearing for her life. She's in the closet. She has to record you to have evidence of you gaslighting her, verbally abusing her. It's so crummy, man. And for you to try and involve, like, why do you gotta make it a race thing? Why do you gotta even say something like that? It's so ignorant. Rob has a history of trying to act hard when he's not, and we could all tell that he was a punk since day one, but I didn't think he was this much of a punk. As we know, Rob has problems controlling his aggression and he's very manipulative. I'm confused why this energy was directed at Sophie, but when that British dork was over, her friend, right, the childhood friend that she used to date, you didn't have this kind of energy for him. Like, that wasn't directed at him, even though he was I-fucking your girl and saying a bunch of things to get you all hot and bothered.
So how have you been finding it with Rob?
Rob, answer it for me.
Have been what?
I want some honesty here as well.
We're working our out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know she's had some bad taste in men before, and I just don't want that to be the case, that she's going to be with you for a long time.
Why do you direct that energy towards your wife? That's what confuses me. And I've seen a lot of guys on the show like this that have a certain kind of energy for their woman, but when it comes to going up against another dude, that energy is not present. Something for both Rob and Sophie to work on, in my opinion, is setting up boundaries, because right away, y'all have both disrespected each other in different ways, but ways where anyone else would leave and just say, you know what? You look like a fool. I'm not willing to compromise about this. You want to leave the house instead of working this out with me and I'm your husband, and you want to go live with some weirdo girl that is up your ass and whispering in your ear that I'm bad, and you want to spend all this time with your friends that call me insecure and all these things when I just want to feel loved and feel safe in this relationship, well then you can go. I hope I'm communicating this correctly, but there has to be some kind of baseline. There has to be some kind of line that you're not willing to compromise about as a person, as someone that is deserving of respect in a relationship. And if someone crosses that, well, best of luck to you. As we know by now, especially because of the past couple of videos, there's a lot of cringe NPCs that want to be famous and go on this show, but they don't want to be criticized. And it's jokes to kick back, eat some popcorn, and watch the shit show unfold. For Rob and Sophie, they definitely need to work on setting healthy boundaries with her mother because she is way too involved in this relationship, and she has been for a very long time. The minute I saw that she moved to Austin, Texas and got a boyfriend there in Austin, Texas as well. For all the actual parents, let me know in the comments, but there's a certain point where you want your baby to fly the coop and create a beautiful life for themselves, and it's natural, and it's the natural progression of life to create your own family with your own dynamic. And you can be a fan and offer support, but to be too involved, it never ends well. And I understand that Rob has a lot of things to work on, but I find the mother's involvement to be very inappropriate. You should be removed to a point, offering wisdom and support from a distance. You don't need to be right there, smother mother. If you go on any video about Rob and Sophie's relationship, you'll see a whole bunch of 90 Day Fiance fans telling Sophie to run away from Rob. And it's extra funny for me because dating Rob is like the song Runaway by Kanye West. As you all are aware, Rob has cheated on Sophie a whole bunch in the past, and he will often label it as online cheating in order to diminish the severity of what he did. Cheating is cheating, bro. Anytime someone puts Rob on blast for a past behavior, he is so quick to get defensive. This man cannot take criticism, and that severely stunts his growth as a human being. And when I see him act like this, it's like I'm getting a migraine, because why would you want to be a public figure and go on this TV show if you can't take criticism? It makes no sense in my brain. Also, I and just about everyone that watches this TV show has noticed that Rob rarely compliments Sophie. That's something that she herself has even brought up on the latest episode during their therapy session. The reason why he doesn't compliment her a lot is because he doesn't want her to feel powerful, because God forbid she pulls a Miona. Oh, brain blast, that's right, you guys, I haven't talked about that. So Miona left Sparkles for a new guy that is a higher level man, and we all saw this coming, but in case you didn't know, now you know. So Rob probably looked at what happened to Jabri and said, that's not gonna be me. Let's not forget, Sophie doesn't have that much dating experience. She's 25 years old, relatively young to be going on this show, right? As hard as her mother is on Rob, let's not forget that Sophie's grandfather is wealthy. So the mom had a trust fund and lost that money, and that's something that she even admits in a video that I'm going to play right now.
I want to shame anyone with mental health, addiction or anything. These are things people are born with, not something they choose. This weekend I've had a massive argument with my daughter, and yes, I was angry. Angry doesn't mean mental health. And the fact her and Kay were trying to shame me with that is disgusting. Shame on them. I'm really happy that a lot of people contact me about addiction and stuff, and I've been able to help them since the show, so that I'm grateful for. As far as the show, I hate being on TV. It was never my thing. I did it for Sophie. But here's what the problem is right now. Kay has got in between me and Sophie. She's jealous of our bond, and she's won, because I'm leaving. Me and Sophie probably won't speak ever again. I came here on crutches, in pain, and used my leg money, that was my pension, for Sophie. I gave her a chunk when at Christmas, like a lot of money, and then a lot when I got here. She said, don't worry, which I had very before. I've been clean for multiple years. I've also, I did have ADHD, which I take medication for. So at the weekend, Sophie kept saying, oh, you're crazy. No, I was being talked over and I lost my shit and I started shouting and screaming. Kay biting, I told her to get out of my face. She wouldn't, and I said, get out of my face, and I threatened her. I said, get out. I'm on crutches. I felt very vulnerable and very attacked. Yeah, I was screaming and shouting and lost my shit. I'm not perfect. I'm a human. It happens. I apologise for shouting. But getting kicked out of the house, Sophie literally threw me on the street. Now she's got all my money. I'm literally in a horrible hotel wanting to get home. Thank God I'm back and made amends, like, recently with my family. So I'm going to go back to Spain and be in the mountains and have a happy life. But Sophie is being a drama queen right now. No one should speak to their parents like that. She was so frigging rude to me. Where I come from, with parents, kids, you might roll in the family, but outsiders do not get involved. Whether it's their house as well as not. She should have kept her nose out, Kay, but she wanted out. She wants to, I mean, she watches Sophie on a camera constantly on her podcast. Sophie gets curly hair, she tries and gets curly hair. She still tries to steal Sophie's friends. She's constantly watching Sophie monitoring. She hates it when I'm there. So Kay's an arsehole. I'm worried for Sophie, but I'm leaving and I don't want to lose my daughter right now. I don't think we'll ever make up because I've been so disrespected. And using mental health is not okay. I'm a woman that's in a sad situation, very vulnerable right now, and I need some help from my daughter, and I didn't get it. All I've got is, I'm just ashamed that she would use domestic violence, mental health. Like, who does that? Kay kept saying, it's so, honestly, I'm heartbreaking what's gone down. So yeah, I knew I was going to go. I couldn't do it. I can't do this anymore. Watch Sophie. So what I forgot to mention is, yes, we come from a very wealthy family, but I'm not wealthy. I lost everything 10 years ago. You know, I started all over again. My money, I need it, basically. So that's where the argument came from a place of fear, frustration, and they didn't see it. I used it. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I just want to set the record straight. I am not wealthy by any means.
Time out, Mom. So I have a lot of things to say about this. First and foremost, when Sophie sent you those videos of Rob going off on her and being very verbally abusive to her, I'm sure she never imagined that you would all of a sudden be this unhinged and post those videos publicly without running that by her first. You know, there's this old saying, don't wash your dirty laundry on the street, and that was communicated a lot to me growing up, especially by my Italian side of the family. And you would never catch me beefing with a family member or anything like that publicly, because I find that very crummy. I do think that what I just said resonates with a lot of people, because I think we all looked at this and said, wow, this is very embarrassing. It's interesting for her to be hard on Rob about the financial situation when she had a head start that Rob didn't have. I think that you're really possessive of your daughter and you use her as an emotional crutch. And when you feel her slipping away, you lash out. What's interesting about this is when Claire explained her side of the story, there were a lot of fans that jumped on the bandwagon and supported Claire, and I understand why to a point, because I think people really dislike Rob. And I get why they dislike him, but you can't dislike someone to the point where it makes you blind, if that makes sense. Side note, I had a really good conversation with my mother the other day. I got her a whole bunch of flowers, we had a great lunch, and then we went on a walk. It started to get really hot in Las Vegas. It's like 95 degrees outside. We have really philosophical conversations, and I was running this Sophie situation by her. And my mom brought up a good point, which is, if you're familiar with how this works, you would know that naturally, if you're explaining your side and you're trying to paint your daughter as being in the wrong, there's gonna be a lot of fans that reach out and harass your daughter as a result from that. And that's exactly what happened. There were a lot of people messaging Sophie talking about how she was whack for this, how could you do this to your mom, etc. Let's look at one conversation between an angry fan and Sophie. A fan messaged Sophie, girl, stop it, your mom. Don't send her stuff if you don't. Sophie responded, really? So you think this is acceptable for a mom telling their child? Send a photo and then followed up. Don't comment on things you know nothing about. My mom has mental health issues that are severe. The fan then sent a voice note that we unfortunately can't play, and Sophie responded with, my mother is trying to kill me, love, but you enjoy your day. Then the fan hit back with press charges. Now let's look at the messages where her mother actually threatens her life. Green card problems I think will cause you problems. By the way, Sophie, you can threaten to post pictures and videos of me with mental health. I will be dead tomorrow, so I don't actually care. And then a lot of this is bleeped out. You C-word, you just thought that's bleeped out as well. You dirty, nasty, slow little front. How dare you know what Uber? Now I'm gonna come to your house and slit your f***ing throat. Fuck off. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 90 Day Fiance is quickly turning into 90 Day of True Crimes. You believe that she would send a message like this to her own flesh and blood, her daughter, that she claims to love so much? You're gonna threaten to kill her because you don't approve of the way she's moving in this relationship with Rob the Knob? What? We just watched this woman post a public IG story talking about how she's been clean for years and she doesn't have mental health issues, yet she's talking about unaliving herself and slitting her daughter's throat. Make it make sense. Rob's friend Tori messaged Kiki and Kibitz and had this to say about the situation. Conversation I managed to get my hands on with Sophie and her mom. Everyone wants to bash Rob and co-sign with Claire and call him Rob the Knob. This is a prime example of how Claire speaks to Sophie behind closed doors when cameras aren't rolling. And she's been speaking like this to her whole life, but no one wants to look at how Sophie was raised or her upbringing. Rob and Sophie have their issues, but this has nothing to do with him. He isn't even in the same place as Sophie or her mom. Notice how Claire is threatening Sophie because she's afraid of Sophie posting videos, but Claire is the only one posting videos blackmailing her own family. The terrorist threats are because Claire has threatened to kill her own daughter, then kill herself. Sophie called the cops because she was fearful for her own life and her mother's. The videos that were released of Rob were 2 years old after Rob was upset at Sophie for not coming home or responding to his calls for days. Then Tori sent the screenshots of the conversation that we just read at Kiki and Kibitz between Sophie and her mother. I'll tell you what, I really want to know the part that is blurred out. I'm sure that it's 10 times worse than what was not blurred out, but the situation is just disgusting, especially because it was just recently Mother's Day. So sad for Sophie and Rob and everyone involved. Even the friend, I mean, the way that the mom has taken it to the next level of unhinged is baffling. What's up, dudes? I was gonna end the video here, but then there was new developments with this story. It turns out that Claire made bail, and Kiki and Kibitz posted about it. The caption reads, Claire's first statement since she was released from jail after being charged with terroristic threats against a family/household. Previous texts released show Claire threatening to slit her daughter's throat and kill herself afterwards. Check out the pinned post for the text between mother and daughter, and that is of course a conversation that we've read previously in this video. Now let's take a look at what Claire has to say.
I'm probably bored of my stories, but I really want to say this as a mother, like what we're going through, me and my daughter, like we have a bond stronger than ever, and this has never happened. I will always be there for her, and I need to go home, back to Europe for a bit. But I just want people to know, my Sophie's done nothing wrong. She's a young girl, she came to America in love, got her heart broken, was in a really toxic relationship, which I think at such a young age, I think it's really affected her. She had no friends, no family there, you know what I mean? I came out as much as I could, but obviously I'm not an American citizen, so I only can come so often. But she's done nothing wrong in this. All she's a victim of is being naive, a really cute, sweet person, and too trustworthy. And I don't want anyone hating on my Sophie. I really don't. She's done nothing wrong. Try not to cry. Right now we're a little bit estranged, but we will sort this out, because like my love is too strong. But I feel like me being here is not going to help. I feel like I need to go and heal and be on my own back in England. Not England, sorry, I hate England. Back in Spain, and I feel like she maybe needs to go. Okay, probably bored of my story. There's a saying, when life gives you lemons, I think it is, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Oh God, I was in a really nice place yesterday, and now I'm here, but it's all about gratitude. Every lesson is a blessing, and life's too short to be angry.
And what did her bullshit little caption say? Hold up, let me read this real quick. Finally got my suitcase back, so able to give myself facial, get my hair done, extensions put back in, and grateful I can put my head on pillow and know I did nothing wrong. And one thing that will never ever change is how much I love my daughter and pray angels protect her. Sophie, don't sweat it, love. Isn't it funny how you bail your mom out, you spend that $5K, and then next thing you know, she's trying to be all kumbaya with you? This kind of response publicly would actually piss me off. Sometimes when life gives you lemons, you need to make lemonade. That's the public response you have after threatening to unalive yourself and slit your daughter's throat. This is so embarrassing for Sophie, for Rob, for the friend. I get what they're saying now, because you got this woman with this big grouper mouth that is so quick to throw criticism Rob's way, talk about how he never takes accountability. Look at her, not taking any accountability for what she's done, what she said, making all this public for no reason. It's so ridiculous, and for a mother to do this around Mother's Day speaks volumes about her character. She was also very quick to point out that Sophie's a spoiled brat. Sophie was given the same financial opportunity you were given because Sophie's grandfather is the one with money, and you made irresponsible financial decisions. Now you use your daughter as an emotional crutch, and when things don't go your way, you lash out publicly on the internet. You're no mother. You should be ashamed of yourself. My wet socks, let me know in the comments what you think about Sophie and Rob's relationship, her mother's involvement in the relationship, and her tangents, what she's been saying publicly. It is outrageous, right? I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I have to go to a friend's business event, hence why I'm dressed up. I'm gonna throw a sports coat on, smoke a bit, and then head to that. If you wacky wet socks got some spare coin, please check out our channel membership program for the exclusive content, the custom emojis, all ad-free videos, 10 out of 10, totally worth.